And now, Working Man Radio with your host, Joe Lyles.
I got another TV fact for you. Actually, you don't need to make this a TV fact. This is a TV fact. It's already a TV fact. That means, what's a TV fact? That's something that's on TV, and therefore everybody knows it. But it's something that people need to be reminded of. The Republicans, I say the Republicans, a group of Republican congressmen and senators and other officials and dignitaries, including Newt Gingrich, met the day that Barack Obama was sworn in and said, we're not going to cooperate with him doing anything. We're going to obstruct everything he wants to do. And they commenced to obstruct everything he wanted to do, and they're still doing it. The president said, I'm going to appoint 4 judges to the D.C. Court of Appeals. The response was instantaneous. Charles Grassley, the senator from the senator from Iowa who sits on the Judiciary Committee, said, why? Why does he need to appoint 4 justices to this court? There are other vacancies. Why doesn't he fill those other vacancies? Why does he insist on putting these 4 people up? And to which the answer is, well, Senator Grassley, why do you insist on obstructing them? Why can't we get a hearing on these folks? You know what? There's a process for appointing judges. All federal judges are reviewed by the American Bar Association and deemed to have various levels of being qualified. And the president mostly, and this is both parties, presidents mostly appoint people who are acceptable in the sense that their profession recognizes them as being qualified and having the temperament to make good judges. Their ideologies, there may be variances in idea. There are obviously variances in ideologies, but nobody rarely says that a judge is unqualified. There was and I can't remember what was her name? Myers, the George W. Bush's counsel, White House counsel, who he was going to put on the court. She was generally recognized as not being up to the job. That is a rare occurrence, and not being up to the job is a reason to obstruct a nominee, and it is a reason to vote against a nominee. They vote against them all. Why did they choose this path of obstruction? Why the path of obstructionism? Why did they do this? Well, because the economy crashed and burned on their watch. The economy always underperforms under Republican administrations. Another TV fact. That's not a TV fact. You need to make it a TV fact. You know what you need right now? Write a letter to the editor of your local newspaper and point out this fact. Every period of Republican control of the White House ends in recession and high unemployment. Every one. Eisenhower left office with 6.5% unemployment. Ford left office with 7.5% unemployment. George Bush the First left office after 12 years of Republican control of the White House, left office with 7.3% unemployment. George W. Bush, George Bush II, left office with unemployment at 7.6% unemployment. Some people say it's 7.9. I don't understand that. I measure these things from January to January. What was the unemployment rate for the month of January? It was 7.6. It was 7.9 in February. I don't know why they measure February to February. I think they should measure January to January. And that gives George W. Bush a little bit, that helps him out a little bit. Every Republican period of control of the White House ends in economic stagnation and high unemployment, and there's a reason for that. The Republican Party, and I want to explain to you the difference between Republicans and Democrats. All right? The Democrats are not perfect. You're not hearing me say the Democrats are perfect. They're not perfect by a mile. And there are many reasons for many different people to find the Democratic Party to be less than fully satisfactory. I'm not telling you that the Democrats are great. But the question is, and this is what politics is about, who represents the owners? Remember yesterday we talked about the owners? Who represents the owners? Who are the owners? The investor class. The people who own the stock of the company you work for. Who represents those people? George W. Bush talked about I remember this. He talked about creating the ownership society. Was that a society, Mr. President, where everybody in society was going to own at least a little something? No, that's not what he meant. What he meant was a society run by the owners, where the owners dictate the terms for which the people who do the work dictate the wages, hours, working conditions. It's all about labor, people. It's all about cheap labor. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. That's what these policies are all about. That's why there is a reason. It's not an accident that Republicans leave office with stagnation and high unemployment. High unemployment means less leverage for people who work. Are you a white working man? Are you a white working man who is a racist? Are you a white working man who thinks, I'm white, I'm better than those colored folks? I'm white and I'm tired of my hard-earned tax money. And if you're a working man, you're probably not paying a lot of income taxes, though you are paying your Social Security and Medicare, your payroll taxes. Never discount those. Never let anybody say, "Oh, they don't pay any taxes," because they don't pay and they don't pay a lot of income tax. They're paying taxes. There's a whole story about that, which we will get to. I will never run out of things to talk about. Don't you worry. If you're a white man, if you're a white working man who is a white supremacist, you will not hear me say, "You filthy, stinking racist." You'll never hear that come out of my mouth. I'm not a white supremacist. I don't believe in that. But I want you to understand something, right? If you are a white supremacist working man, the more unemployed people there are puts downward pressure on your wages. If you are a white working man, white supremacist, and you've got a job when the colored folks who we kicked off of welfare, and that's not most of who's on welfare, by the way, but you think that they are. You think all my money's going to colored folks who don't work. Well, when we send them all out to work, they're going to come where you work, and they're going to work cheaper than you do, and your boss is going to come in and he's going to say, "Hey, you know what? We need to cut your pay." Because those folks out there at the gate, they'll work cheaper than you. What are you going to do then? That's what high unemployment is for. It exists to do this. They like high unemployment because it gives them the leverage and it gives you none. And that's the reason. There is a reason why Republicans consistently create high unemployment economies. And I just told you what that reason is. And they did it again in 2008. They did it again. They created a high unemployment economy. They wrecked the economy. They caused the markets to crash. They caused the financial collapse. It was all on George W. Bush's watch. And they're not going to let the Democrats show them up again. That's what Bill Clinton did. You ever ask yourself, why did people hate Bill Clinton? It's because he did a good job. We'll wrap it up when I come back.
You've been listening to Working Man Radio with Joe Lyle at joelylesradio.com.